we doing? Happy Wednesday. It took me a minute to realize what day it was. It is Wednesday. We are halfway through the week, and I gotta tell you, can't get to the end fast enough. You guys. So how we doing? I'm trying to brighten up my screen a little bit here because I don't know what it is, but sometimes my screen is a little dark. Did that do anything for you guys? Because I can't tell. Doesn't seem to be changing a whole lot. I don't know. Sometimes it gets a little brighter and sometimes it does. It's really weird. This is just such a weird iPad that I have really never quite figured out how to use correctly, but I get it to do the things that I need it to do. Hi, everybody. Hi, Suzanne. How are you, my friend? Maria, Kathleen. Talking in a tin can. What? I'm talking in a tin can. That is not a good sign at all. All right, hold on. How about now? Better now? Am I better now? Hi, Karen. Guys, let me know. How do I sound now? Do I sound better? I'm telling you, today is a whole mood. It is a whole mood today. And I'm so glad that I get to come and like spend time with you guys so that I can ignore that today is a whole mood. Good day. Good day. Hi, everybody. All right. So how we doing? Do I sound better than I did? Can't have myself talking in a tin can. That's just not a good thing. Not a good thing at all. Looks okay. Sound not so much. What? What is happening? Better? Yes. Guys. Kathleen, is it possible that it's just you? Now I can hear you. Wonderful. Okay. Good. I don't know what I would do without you guys. I know it would certainly be a lonely Facebook Live without all of you all. I'm glad you can hear me now. That's good. That's awesome. All right, cool. So I don't know if you noticed or not, there is a little bit of a delay. I know that sometimes the delay is longer than other times. And I know that like people who watch Facebook Lives usually kind of know that, but just know that like, there really is quite a bit of a delay here. I don't know why. Sometimes it's worse than others. But so when you like ask me questions and stuff, that's why it takes a minute. Either that or I just didn't see it. I mean, I'm just trying to, you know. Oh gosh. Okay. So guys, it's Wednesday, which means that we are going to do a little bit of designing on the fly. Sorry about that. Let me steady you. I always have like a project in mind. That did no good. You're still swinging back and forth. I always have a project in mind, but as far as like actually executing it, I have yet to do that part. And on Wednesdays, when we do design on the fly, it is you usually focusing on the weekly deals. And today is no different. We are focusing on the weekly deals for our design. And so let me go through those weekly deals with you all so that you will kind of know. I know we talked about them on Monday, but a lot of you all have slept since then. I know I have. So it doesn't hurt to do a refresher. So the weekly deals for this week are buy 4, get 1 free on findings. This to me is a fantastic opportunity to stock up, right? And we mentioned this on Monday, or I mentioned this on Monday because I run low this time of year because it feels like this time of year, and I don't know, you guys are probably the same way, but like I'm making an extra amount of jewelry this time of year. Whether you're getting ready for a show or you're selling or you're giving as gifts, you go through the findings this time of year. I seem to go through them much faster than normal. And so this is a really good deal to stock up. The code for that is JJB findings. There's no spaces. Okay, all one one little word. If you try to put this, I know I say that and people are like, why do you always tell us that? Well, it's because there are some people who are not used to using the coupon codes, and if you put the spaces in there, it will not take it. So you need to be sure that you are not putting any spaces in with that. So today's project is going to be heavy on the findings because everybody needs findings. I'm going to show you some fun ones that you can stock up on that are going to add to your stash. Okay. The next weekly deal is
free rose beads, the Feelin Rosy beads, with a $39 cart, and the code for that is Rosy. And as a matter of fact, we are going to be using some of those in our design today as well. I'm in love with these black ones. I've been hanging on to these for a little while, and I thought today would be a good opportunity to use these. So we are going to create a necklace on the fly. We're going to use some of these. We're going to do heavy on the findings, and we're also going to use one of the Color Envy mixes just because there's a red one, and you know I have to use the red. So I'm going to be using that one. And then last but not least for the weekly deals is 2 times the loyalty points on the School of Magic collection. And there's no code needed for that, right? You don't have to have a code. It just automatically happens when you go to check out if you've got the School of Magic beads in your cart. Now, even if you are not a Harry Potter fan or a School of Magic fan, you guys, these beads are absolutely gorgeous. So don't let that, don't let that sway you from looking at some of the most beautiful beads ever, right? You don't have to be a Harry Potter fan to appreciate some gorgeous beads. And so definitely check those out. The loyalty points program, for those of you who do not know, Jessie James Beads has the Love Club, which you can sign up for when you go to the website. There's a little tab in the lower right hand corner that you can pull up, and it will help you to sign up for the Love Club, which just means that you can earn points every time you spend money on the Jessie James Beads website. Those points you can accumulate and then turn into goodies from the site, right? It's like an exchange program, which is really, really cool. And another great way to stock up on things, right? If you shop a lot, then you're going to get a lot back free, which is a really, really good deal. If you ask me, it's kind of like Jessie James Beads is paying you to shop with them. Does that make sense? I know it's a weird way to put it, but I mean, it kind of is the way that it is. Okay, so those are the weekly deals. I also want to remind you that it is Wednesday. And what does that mean? It means it's What's New Wednesday. So keep an eye on that website. If you've not signed up for the Jessie James Beads mailing list, please do that while you are signing up for the Love Club. Both things only take a couple of seconds to do, probably 3 minutes tops to do both of them. Sign up for those. You'll be the first in the know for What's New Wednesday, all of the new things that are coming out, and you'll also get links and inspiration sent directly to your inbox. All right. Wanda says it makes sense to a shopper, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, I need a shoe company to do that for me too. Beads, shoes. I need both of these things. All right, so let's get down to business, shall we? So we're going to put together a necklace. It is a design on the fly, meaning I know sort of what it's going to look like, but I have yet to actually execute this. And it's going to be heavy on the findings because that is what our weekly deal is, but it's also going to be beautiful beads, as always. All right, so let's do this, shall we?
All right, guys. So for the beads for our project today, let me empty out my little bowl here. Got a lot of little things in my bowl. Probably should have emptied this out ahead of time, so I apologize. Give me just a second. Got little tiny things in my bowl, and I don't want to dump them in the floor. Okay, so chasing a crimp bead. Crimp bead on the run. Okay, so for our project today, we're going to be using the sound went out. Is it back? What's going on? These are not good things, guys. These are not good things. Okay, so for today's project, sounds really low. What is happening? Oh gosh, I don't know why. I'm quiet again. This is not good. Okay, hold on. Okay, can you hear me now? Sorry. How we doing? Sounds bad. Is it still bad? Back in the tin can. Oh my gosh, this is not good. Let's see if I can find my other microphone, you guys. It just weakened. Oh goodness. Okay, give me just a second. Let me see. Okay. Sounds fine to you? Good? You guys!
Okay, if it's good now, I'm just going to keep going. Okay, better? Okay, good. I don't know what's going on, you guys. I have no idea. Okay, so I'm going to use the Mini Mix in Red Queen. This is part of the Color Envy collection. And this is, it goes hand in hand with the multicolored wire in the black, red, and gold. But I'm going to actually use silver with this today. But do keep that in mind that like there is a multicolor wire pairing for this, but it's just a cool mix all by itself. So I thought you guys wouldn't mind, right? I love red. You guys know I'm a huge, huge fan of red. So we're actually going to make a black necklace with pops of red in it. I want to use these little baby rondelles. See these little guys? You guys know how I feel about tiny beads. Like I'm obsessed with little tiny beads. We're going to use these little cherry colored beads too. Those are going to be our 2 pops of red, but I really want to focus on some of the black, and we're going to use our big boy, and we're going to use one of our Feelin Rosy beads and make kind of a metal tassel-ish. There's going to be some wire wrapping. There's going to be some stringing. Like there's a little bit of everything with this project, okay? At least that's what my hope is. I have, however, lost my crimper tool, and that is not a good thing. Let me grab one that I can get. Okay. So we're also going to be using lots of findings because the findings are part of the weekly deal. So guys, this is probably my very, very favorite findings situation. You guys know I use the word situation when I never can find the right words for things. So this is a findings situation, if you will. And I love these little Beaded findings packs because they're so handy. First of all, they close up nice and tight. You can toss this into your bag, or, you know, it can get thrown around on your workspace and you don't have to worry about losing all your findings. But guys, there's a ton of stuff in here. So these little findings packs go a long, long way. You've got some of the little spring ring clasps. You've got some lobster clasps. You have different sizes of jump rings, which is handy. You also have the little tags for your spring ring clasps, which we never really use. I don't know why. We probably should. And then it also has some crimp beads in here, which I think is a super cool little addition to this, because even without this, it still would have been cool to have all of these jump rings and things, but you get a choice. You've got some little crimp tubes, which are my favorite, or the crimp beads. So that is super, super cool. And guys, they come in different colors. They come in different metal ways. So head over to the Jessie James Beads website when we get done here and take a look, because they come in the silver color, which we're using today. You can get these in the hematite. You can get them in the antique bronze. You can get them in rose gold, and you can get them in the gold color. These are really cool to stock up on and just have them on hand, right? There's nothing worse than running out of findings. You guys remember when I ran out of 6mm jump rings? Like, I was down to the nitty gritty. These guys are lifesavers, and it's just a cool thing to just have on hand, right? And you can have them in all the colorways, which is cool. So definitely use that deal on those. I'm also going to be using some head pins for today's project, but I'm going to be using some head pins that we don't often use. I'm using the little ball head pins, which I really like. I wish I used these more often. I just don't have a really big stash of these. So I have just a tiny little bit of these, but I thought that they would be a cool little addition. Also included in the findings, right? So there are these guys. We are also going to use a couple of 4mm jump rings that are not included in the pack here. So the pack has 5mm jump rings, which is just like a hair up from this 4mm, but I really needed a small one. So I thought, well, you know, I'll just grab the 4s as well, because these are also part of the findings deal. So no harm, no foul there, right? And then, of course, we're going to use a little bit of chain. I'm going to use some small, just silver cable chain, but we're also going to use some chain reaction, because you guys know this is one of my favorite Jessie James Beads items of all time, and it is such a great addition to any project. So I pulled out a black one with the antique silver color, and we're going to use this as the length for our necklace. So you can see how the mix here is definitely has the brass going on, but we are going to leave out the brass and do this in a silver colorway. You guys can do this any colorway you want to, though, because the black and the red are going to look beautiful with any metal. Even the rose gold, believe it or not. You'd be surprised what goes with rose gold. Okay, so let's get started and build our necklace. Now, I do want to say we're not doing a super hard necklace, okay? And this design is, you know, this can be turned into a bunch of different things. So I really am just kind of giving you as always, just some inspiration that you can take and use however you want to, okay? So just keep that in mind. Like, this is not going to be like a ground shaking, earth breaking, you know, brand new design that you've never seen before with brand new techniques. Not at all. This is just some inspiration using some great beads. Okay. All right. So I've pulled out 8 of these tiny little rondelles, which I love. We're going to put each one of these onto one of these little ball head pins, and we're going to do wrapped loops on all of them. Okay. And it never gets old, like practicing your wrapped loops, right? And as always, just like I always tell you guys, if you don't want to do wrapped loops and you prefer to do just simple loops instead, you absolutely can do that. You don't have to do things exactly the way that I do it. My wrist is naked. Oh my gosh, thank you for pointing that out. So I have my watch on. I'm telling you, today is just a mood. The whole day has just been a mood since I got out of bed this morning. I just had this weird feeling. And let me fix that. Let's just pop some bracelets on real quick because I can't be walking around here with my naked wrists. So, be you, stay weird, which to me is exactly, this is just 2 bracelets that say the exact same thing. But yeah. Okay, now we're no longer naked. Thank you, Wanda. Oh gosh, that's almost as like what's the word here? That is almost as shocking as if I were really sitting here in just my undies. Like, but I'm telling you, with this day, that wouldn't surprise me in the least. I do have on pants, guys. I do. I promise. Okay. So I put all of those on our ball head pins here, and we're just going to do some wrapped loops on these. And I'm one of those weirdos who likes to who likes to do them all and then cut the tails off all at the same time. So just be prepared. We're gonna tackle all 8 of these real quick, okay? All right, so I'm grabbing the wire right where it is exiting our rondelle bead with my chain nose pliers. I'm going to take that wire and I'm going to bend it right over the top of the pliers so that when I take the pliers away, you can see we've got a little bit of room here. That's the perfect amount of room that we need to come in with our round nose pliers. We're going to place that wire so it is running between the barrel of those pliers. Now I'm going to hold the tool stationary, and I'm going to take the wire and go up and over the top barrel of the pliers, okay? Now I need to take that wire all the way over here to the other side in order to make a loop, but my pliers are in the way, so I need to just roll them up. Now I can take the wire over to the other side, okay? And then I'm going to do the wire wrapping between the loop and the top of the bead, just like so, okay? And I will go ahead and cut the tail off of this one. So trimming off the excess wire that we don't need. Now we've got 7 more of these to go. So for those of you who enjoy watching the wire wrapped loops, which I never get over, I think is so funny, you've got 7 more of these to watch. Okay. Mending the wire. Hi, Terry. Round nose pliers coming in or coming up and over. Wire over, switching hands, and doing the wrap. Guys, if you can't do your wrapped loops that fast, it's totally okay, okay? Please don't watch me and be like, oh my gosh, I ought to be able to pump those wrapped loops out in a flash. No. Particularly if you are just now beginning with wrapped loops, just know I've probably made over 1 million wrapped loops in my life, probably closer to 4 or 5 million. And, you know, I can do it with my eyes closed. So please don't think that you should be able to to make these loops that fast. I'm just trying to save time because we've got a lot to go through, and they don't always turn out perfect, guys. Hi, Charlene. How are you? Okay. So we've got a few more to go. Hey, Randy, how you doing? Randy, what are you working on today? What are the rest of you guys working on today? What's everybody doing? What's on your work surface today? Janelda says her wrapped loops come out different every time. Yes, they have a different personality every single time. That's the way I feel about them, and I love them all. It's just like children. It's okay. Some of them are a little feistier than others. Some of them are a little slouchy and sloppy. Oh my gosh, a world record. That would be crazy. We should do that. That would be so fun. See how many we can get in an hour. Oh my gosh. My hands will be worn out, but gosh, it'd be so fun. I love doing wrapped loops. I'm such a weirdo. Working. Some of y'all are at work. I'm telling, you're watching Facebook Live while you're working. I'm not going to tell on you. I encourage. Just don't tell your boss. Unless you are the boss, and it's totally okay. Christmas crafts, cool. Terry's working on a Tree of Life pendant. You guys are so awesome. I love it. I love it that you're busy when I'm busy because it gives me motivation to just keep on being busy. Some days I feel very overwhelmed. Other days I feel like, you know, you get creative block. And you guys are always such an inspiration to me, just so you know. Really good vibes today. I like it. I like that. Better than I was. I'm definitely feeling better than I was. Before I got here. Oh, today's just been a day. It's cloudy and kind of gross outside today, and I think that might have something to do with my mood. Using up the last beads from last month's Magical Mystery Bead Box. Gosh, that's a tall order because that box was full of beads. Like, there were a ton of beads in that one. Ooh, earrings. I'm always a fan of earrings. So I kind of have a little inside information about what is coming tomorrow. Well, actually later today, since it's What's New Wednesday. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but speaking of earrings, tomorrow's Facebook Live, plan to come and be ready to make some earrings. We're going to kind of do what we're doing today a little bit. We're going to do, it's not necessarily, well, I guess it will kind of be a design on the fly. Like, I have thoughts and ideas, and there is so much fun stuff coming that I don't know where to start with all of it. So I thought, you know what, let's just do a little bit of everything. So tomorrow's Facebook Live at 11 a.m. Eastern time, be ready to come and let's just do a little bit of everything. Let's just play and have a good time tomorrow. Be nice and relaxed, check out the new goodies, and make some fun, easy things tomorrow. I think it'll be cool. All right, so, oh, Rochelle says she's overwhelmed, downsizing. Goodness. Oh, somebody had rotator cuff surgery. Donna, goodness. I hope that your recovery is going to go quick, because that's no fun at all. We're thinking about you. Okay, so we've got our 8 little rondelles here that we just kind of, popped out as quick as I could. And I'm going to grab some 4mm jump rings, downsized and then got more beads. That's the story of my life, you guys. That's the story of my life. Like, I clean out and I make room and I'm like, oh, I made too much room. Got to fill this up with some more beads. All right, so I'm going to grab some 4mm jump rings because we're going to attach all of our little rondelles to some pieces of chain, okay? And I want to use the 4mm jump rings for this instead of the 5mm that are actually in the little findings pack. But if you don't want to mess with the 4mm because they're just too small, go with the 5s that are in here. They're handy. Okay, so I've cut myself 8 pieces of chain. This is just small chain that I always kind of just have this small chain on hand. You can get the little tiny chains over on the Jessie James Beads website. There are a lot of different ones to choose from, so definitely go check those out. I've got some small little silver chain that I really just have scraps of. This is excuse me, these are 2-inch pieces of chain, and I have 8 of them. They're all pre-cut the same length here, but you could do staggered lengths if you wanted to. Totally up to you. You get creative with this. Like I said, I'm just giving you a jumping off point with some creativity. You totally take this and run with it however you want to. So I'm going to open up a 4mm jump ring. I'm going to thread it onto one end of my chain, and then for each one I'm going to thread on one of our little rondelles. So I'm going to do that with all 8. And then I'm just going to kind of lay them out so that we've got them and they're ready to use. Rochelle's working on organization. Come organize my space. Oh, come on over. When you're done with yours, come do mine. No, I've really been working hard on organizing and cleaning out and trying to, more than anything with my space, it's not really that I'm cleaning out so much as that I'm trying to make it more functional, because I feel like I end up with, I organize things and then the organization is just not conducive to my creativity. So it ends up making a bigger mess because I can never find things. So that's really my struggle with my little work studio, is trying to make sure that not only is it organized, but that it's organized in a way that makes sense so that I can get to things, you know, and not make a huger, I just made up a word, a more huge mess as I'm working. Which, so far so good, but guys, it's only been a few days. It's only been a few days with my new measures in place. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. All right. So again, that's why we're chatting here, because this is just really just opening and closing the jump rings, threading on our bead. There's only so much technique here, just opening and closing the jump rings. Okay. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to build this into like a tassel, if you will. I'm a huge fan of chain tassels. If you don't want to do a chain tassel like I'm doing, you can just do a beaded tassel, or you can do a fabric tassel. You can use the tassels that are in this bead mix. You don't have to get crazy and do great big tassels. I know not all tassels are created equally in everyone's mind. Right? Some people don't like tassels at all. Some people like them, the bigger the better. Some like them, but like them small. So I get it. I get it. All right, we've got one more to go. The struggle of organizing never ends. Randy, that's exactly how I feel. It's just never ending. Jessica says, I always start a new project before I put a previous one away. I do that too. I have a whole little bucket of half finished projects. And I always put them away, and I'm like, I'm going to go back to this project and actually finish it. I've never. They're just destined to be half finished projects for eternity, I'm afraid. Okay, so I'm going to open up one of the larger jump rings that is in the pack here. I'm not real sure what the size is on this, but I would imagine this is probably an 8mm jump ring if I had to guess. It might even be a 10, but it's one of the larger jump rings in the little findings pack. It just started raining. I knew it was cloudy. I knew it was going to rain. I just didn't know when. I'm actually glad that it's raining. All right, so opening up a large jump ring, I'm going to thread every single one of these onto this jump ring. And again, this is one of the larger jump rings. You don't have to use a big, huge jump ring for this. This might actually be overkill. Could have probably used a smaller one, but we'll go with it. We'll go with it. I don't like it when it's cloudy and it doesn't rain. It just is such a damper on my mood. So I like it when it actually rains. I love the rain. So I'm glad to hear it happening out there. All of my fall flowers have all died. I'm really bad about watering things in the fall. And we just haven't had enough rain, so all of my pretty mums out front have all turned brown and crispy. Nothing like brown crispy flowers. All right. So there is our tassel. Well, the beginnings of a tassel. Okay. Because we're gonna bead this up a bit. Okay. So what we're gonna do next is I want this rose bead. I want it to hang from the rose bead. Then I want this big boy bead here. I'm not making that up. That's really what he's called. But I want a pop of red in between here. So we're going to grab all of these little cherry looking beads. They have that fire polish to them. So they have that kind of iridescent thing going on. But we're going to grab all of these that are in the mix. Let's see. I think there's 8. Yeah, there's 8. All right. So we're going to take all 8 of our little cherry beads, and to kind of mix this project up a little bit, we're going to take a little piece of bead stringing wire. Okay, just a very small piece. You don't need much. It's about 4 inches, maybe 4.5 inches. I don't know. Terrible with measurements, so I couldn't tell you. But I'm gonna thread. You know what? Do I want to thread these on before I do my wrapped loops, or? Decisions. Okay, let's wait, because I'm just trying to think. This is truly designing on the fly. So I'm just kind of trying to figure out how I want all this connected. So let's do some wire wrapping first before we do that. So then we'll just string our beads around our wire wrapping. That'll make more sense to you here in just a second. So I'm going to grab some 22 gauge wire here, and I'm going to do a wrapped loop, just a regular sized wrapped loop on one side. Okay. So just like normal here, nothing out of the ordinary. Okay, there's our loop. I'm going to go ahead. I know I could open this jump ring, but I'm just going to pop these two together here. Maybe. All right, now I'm going to do a wrapped loop here. Okay, so I'm holding on to that loop with my bent chain nose pliers, and just going to take my tail, wrap it around, and then I'm going to trim off. Okay, now I want to thread on our rose bead here. Okay, so pop that guy down. Now what I want with this is I want a large loop here. So I'm going to use my bell making pliers. I'm going to use the big ones. I'm going to use the large bell making pliers. I'm actually going to use the largest loop here. Okay. And so I'm going to start this out with just my chain nose pliers. I'm going to grab the wire where it is exiting the bead, go ahead and give it a bend. But now, instead of using my round nose pliers to make my loop, I'm going to use my bell making pliers because I want a big loop. So I'm going to place the wire in there. Okay. Going up and over top barrel our pliers. Okay. And then I'm going to wire wrap, which I know is kind of hard to see at the moment, but give me just a second and you'll see it when I get it wrapped here. Just wanted a really big loop on this. And honestly, you could do like a bail, like where you could wrap around 3 times. You know, we've done that before too. I'm just going to do a single loop. So there's my big loop. I'm going to come in and cut off the tail here. Get in there. It's kind of hard with the roses because you want to be careful with your cutter tool. You don't want to accidentally like snip the petal of one of those roses. All right, there we go. So we've got our rose bead and our big loop here. Okay, this is all going to make more sense in a minute, I promise. And I want my loops to be going in the same direction, so I'm just going to give it a little bit of a twist too. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing with this guy. He needs a small loop on one side and then a monster size loop on the other side. So let me grab another piece of the 22 gauge wire. And maybe this time we'll start with the monster size loop. So bending my wire. I did give myself a little extra here. All right, bringing in the big bail making pliers. I'll move everything out of the way so we can kind of focus here. Okay, now up and over. Hi, Joan. Okay, so there's our big loop. We'll leave it on the pliers here. We'll do our wire wrap. Okay, come in, trim off that tail. We're going to slide on our bead. Oh, that guy's got a larger hole, so he's going to kind of sneak over those wire wraps. That's okay. Okay. So now we're just going to do a regular size wrap loop on this side with just our regular round nose pliers. Okay. Okay, now let's lay this back out here. So we've got these two big loops, and we're actually going to take our bead stringing wire and thread on these cherry beads. Okay. So I'm going to take my piece of bead stringing wire. I'm going to thread on all 8 of our beads here. Okay, and I'm just using some 19 strand silver bead stringing wire. Guys, over on the Jessie James Beads website, you can get all the bead stringing wire you need. Okay, now I'm going to, oh, I missed a bead. Thread this guy on. Now I'm going to thread this through this guy and through the other guy. Now see why I did it this way, doing the bead stringing in this order, so that I don't have to do these wire wrapped loops and try to wrap around this whole little beaded section here. Okay, so I've thread both of those on. Now I'm going to thread on a crimp bead. I always use a crimp tube, but today we're using a bead because I want it to be nice and small and out of the way. So I'm going to thread one side on, then I'm going to take the other side of my bead stringing wire and I'm going to thread it through going in the opposite direction. Okay, and then I'm just going to pull both ends, and that's going to kind of pull our beads here into a circle. Okay, now I need to very carefully get my crimper tool in there. Now there's not a lot of space to work with, but I'm going to do my best. I'm going to, hold on, let's see. You know what? What if, I was going to say, what if we thread through a bead? That might give us a little better grip here. Designing on the fly, guys. Maybe that'll go through there. Let's see. Cross your fingers. I don't know, that bead stringing wire might be too thick to go through. Okay, so I went through that bead. Let's do the other one too. That's just going to take the ends of our bead stringing wire, kind of get them out of the way, and maybe that'll help to get my crimper tool in there. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Mission Impossible theme. I like it. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Anyway, so now I really can kind of pull those ends. Everything's going to look really good. I am going to need a little extra room in there. Grab my crimper tool, right? And then I still need to kind of pull both sides nice and tight. Hold on. Okay. So I place that crimp bead in the back notch of the crimper tool, and I'm just going to squeeze. Boop. Easy peasy. Okay. Now I'm going to put it in the front notch of the crimper tool and turn it the other direction and kind of tidy it up. We do have a little bit of wiggle room here, and that's okay. I'm totally okay with that. Doesn't hurt my feelings in the least. It was necessary to get your crimper tool in there, right? But now we have like this little beaded red section in the middle of our tassel here, which I think is cute. And guys, you can do that with regular wire. If you wanted to do that with your German style wire or whatever, you can. I just kind of like to mix, you know, mix techniques, mix things up a little bit. There's nothing wrong with, you know, mixing your wire wrapping with your stringing and your stringing with your seed beads. And I mean, it's all happy, right? It's all good. Okay, so this is going to be the middle of our necklace, which makes this really cool long tassel section, which I really, really love. So I guess we're just going to finish this off kind of easy peasy. So I'm just going to take some of the black beads that are in the mix here. We're just going to wire wrap. You're going to do wrapped loops. We've got 6 of these, so we'll do 6 of these. We'll hook them together with some jump rings from our findings pack, and then let's add on our chain reaction. And we've got a really beautiful necklace that has not really taken a whole lot of time, right? But looks a little different, right? So let me move all this out of the way and let's do that real quick, shall we? So I'm just going to do wrapped loops on all of these beads. So I'm going to need 6 pieces of my 22 gauge wire. Go ahead and trim that. Okay. Each piece only needs to be about 3.5 inches. Don't need a ton of wire. I always cut way too much. But I'll try to keep them, in control this time. Whoops, I did it again. I did what again? What happened? What did I do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What happened, Jane? Okay. I missed what y'all are talking about, so I'll have to roll back here in just a second. All right, so I'm just going to do wrapped loops. We're going to do these quick and easy, guys. Okay. I'm using my German style wire for this. Round nose pliers. Up and over. Yes, YouTube eats things. Believe me, I know. Facebook does too. But I try not to talk about that a whole lot because it's discouraging. Facebook's actually done it to me more than YouTube has, but it happens. It happens. Oh, I knocked it out of the park. Well, that's good news. I was worried. Like Jane's like, oh, you did it again. Like, what did I do? What did I do? All right, up and over. Now see how much wire I don't waste when I keep it cut down to the right amount. I'm just telling myself, reminding myself, you don't have to use these enormous pieces of wire that I always tend to cut. I'm so bad about that. Okay, wrapped loops, going at it again. Up and over. Now, you absolutely could wire wrap these all together if you wanted to and not use jump rings in between them. I'm just in the habit of using the jump rings in between a lot of times just because I feel like it adds extra length. And a jump ring, you guys know, a jump ring is always an opportunity to add a dangle. So at the end of this, you can always, like, if it needs more, you can always go in and add extra beady dangles and, you know, charms and chains and things from your extra jump rings. So I'm always a fan. Jump ring is always an opportunity in my mind. All right, there's 2. You know, I wonder what the world record is for wrapped loops in 1 hour. I bet I could beat it. What do you bet? And like, what are the stipulations to that? Do they have to be like, are the wires pre-cut? Are they head pins? Or are they eye pins? What gauge wire? Does it matter? Let's find these things out, because I'm guessing whatever it is, I can beat it. I know that's a really big statement, but I'm just telling you. I'm telling you, I could win that. I've been training for that forever. Let's find out, shall we? I bet there's not a world record for it, so I could probably just set the bar. I don't know. I could be wrong. It's way better than being like, you know, a competitive eater. Like, I love snacks and all, but I don't want to see how many snacks I can eat in an hour. JJB can sponsor a Guinness contest. Let's do it. Jesse James Beads Beadalon sponsoring a Guinness Book of World Records contest to see if I can break the record. It's pretty official too. Like, I've been around, you know, groups of like school kids and stuff that have tried to break records and things, and they like, Guinness sends a person and everything, and you have to like sign all these papers. It's very official. So it could be so fun. Tucson 2021. Oh gosh. In a wrapped loop competition. I don't know. I'm thinking that Wyatt could probably beat me with his multi-pliers. What do you bet? And that's another thing. Like, what are the rules? Can you use 2 pairs of pliers? Does it have to be 1 pair of pliers? Because like, some people do their wrapped loops with round nose pliers. Like, they don't double up. Like, I start out with the chain nose pliers. I make my bend. Then I come in with the round nose pliers. Some people do the whole thing with the round nose pliers. So like, is that part of the rules? If nobody has done it before, can I set my own rules? Let's do this thing. Yeah, I think part of the rules, Wanda, is that you absolutely, it is fair game to use your sentence enhancers. And if you are bleeding and leaving your DNA, like, you get bonus points. Because I'm forever poking myself. If you're not bleeding on your beads and your wire, you're doing it wrong. I'm totally kidding. Do not injure yourself. Please don't hurt yourself while you're making your jewelry. It does happen though. That would bring a crowd. I don't know. I think there's just a small niche of us that would want to know, but I would totally be up for the challenge. DNA is a plus, right? Totally. Let's do this. I'm game. All right. This is the last one. Whoops. You guys have got me like, I am literally sitting here seriously contemplating this whole Guinness Book of World Records thing, because like, I really want to know. I'm going to look it up when I'm done with Facebook Live. I'm going to look it up just to see if there is such a thing. All right, there's my wrapped loop. And we've got 6, which means we did 12. So that's a good start for our Guinness Book of World Records. Okay, we're going to use our jump rings from our little findings pack here. Okay, we're going to use our 6mm jump rings that are in the pack to put these together. So, no beading records? What? We should start a whole new chapter of Guinness Book of World Records. Like, we need a Guinness Book of Jewelry Making Records. All right. We did do 12, Sylvia. We did it as a group. I had your support. We did it together. Oh no, do you see that little guy poking out right there? I can't have that. I just can't have that. Excuse me, mister, you've got to go. All right, bye now. See you later. Okay, so I'm going to take a jump ring. I'm going to thread it through the top loop on our big bead here. I'm going to thread on one of our beads on one side and one of our beads on the other side. And then I'm going to close this jump ring. That's our jumping off point for each side. Okay. All right. Jump rings in between. Okay. And then I am going to put a jump ring on the end of each one of these, but I'm going to wait to do that until we get the chain reaction, because the chain reaction is still on the card. I haven't cut any of it. Like, this is for real design on the fly. I really didn't do a whole lot of prep other than just kind of drawing out what I wanted this to look like. So I didn't cut the chain reaction at all. Interesting. I'm surprised, Angie. I'm surprised that there aren't any beading records. It seems to me like there is the world's largest beaded necklace. And in fact, I feel like I just recently saw it online. And I don't know if it was like official or if it was just like like an ad for something, but I feel like I just recently saw that. Okay, so I've taken my chain reaction off of the card. For those of you who've never used chain reaction before, just so that you know, chain reaction is attached with a split ring, and you can save your split ring. You can actually use it as part of your clasp if you want to. A lot of times though, I will take my split ring off and then I save my split rings because I don't keep a lot of split rings around, and these are really handy if you need a split ring for something. It's a good size, so I always keep them. I don't trash them. Okay, so there's my split ring. I'm going to put that over to the side. Okay, so I've got my chain reaction, and the chain reaction is nice and long, but the ends here, you can see like one end, I want them both to end with a bead. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim off one of the chain, this small little chain section on one end. So now my two ends are going to match. I'm going to attach those. I did attach a 6mm jump ring here as I was talking. I'm just going to attach these either end with a 6mm jump ring. Okay. And honestly, this necklace is going to be long enough that you don't have to add a clasp to it, because this is it can be a nice over the head necklace. If you want to leave it that way. If you don't want to leave it that way though, you can lay out your chain reaction. Okay. Find the middle between the two pieces, which is up here, is at this bead. Okay. Just trim this bead off, jump ring here, lobster clasp in the middle, right here where this bead is. But I'm going to leave it because, well, no, I'm not. I thought it was going to be long enough to be over the head, but I don't think it is. So let's just go ahead. So now this goes in my save pile. This and this guy go in my save pile. I never get rid of chain reaction ever. Never, ever, ever. Even the smallest little links, even if it's just one single link, I save every bit of it because you can use it for so many things. All right, so let's grab from our findings pack. Okay, we're going to grab one of the lobster clasps and grab two jump rings here and go ahead and attach those. I wasn't going to, but I mean, why not? The findings are such a good deal. So there's that. This makes this officially finished. If I hadn't cut apart and added a real clasp, wouldn't be an officially finished piece. According to the rules that I have set up in my head. All right, there we go. Boom, done. Now we have such a cool necklace, and it doesn't look like much right here. I promise it looks so much cooler on the bust. So let me grab the bust, and then I'm going to turn you guys around so you can see it, because this is such a fun one. It's such a fun one. I like kind of mixing up like the wire wrapping and the stringing, the bead stringing wire The red, yeah, the red is such a good addition.
All right, so I'm gonna turn you guys around. Okay. All right, so it is a little on the long side for the bust, right? But I want you to see it nice and long before I pull it up so that you can really kind of look at it, just so that you get a good idea of how long. So our center section here is very long. Like this has lots going on in the center section. And then not only that, but the actual length of the necklace is long as well. You can shorten all of this up if you want to. You do not have to make it a really long necklace. I'm just a huge fan of long necklaces. I really like a really long necklace, but I also realize that that's not like everybody's, it's not everybody's jam. I get it. But there you go. So there's not a ton of red, but it is just the pop of red that makes the difference. You've got the pop of red down here with the red rondelles, right? And then you've got the pop of red here in the center with like the cherry beads. And everything else is the black and the silver. It's kind of hard to imagine that this came from the Red Queen. When you look at the Red Queen beads, see the difference that the change of the metal makes? Sound is out. Let me move closer. But you can see how different, I think it's my microphone. I think it has just bit the dust. So it's got the brass in it, but you can totally change the entire look when I move to the camera. It's this microphone. Something is wrong with this microphone. Not a fan. Let's get close. Let's get close. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? You definitely can see up my nose at this point. So there you go. I'm sorry that we have to get really, really close, but it's the microphone, you guys. I'm so sorry. So I'll cut it short so that you don't have to be like, what is she saying? Thank you guys for joining me today. It was fun. I hope you have enjoyed this necklace. I'll get some pictures of it. You can't hear me. Can you hear me at all? Can you hear me now? It happened when I switched the camera. I know. I don't know what's wrong with it, you guys. So I'm just hoping that if I yell really loud, you can hear me say goodbye to you. I love you. Guys, join me tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. We've got fun things going on tomorrow. We've got more fun things coming to the shop later today. So don't miss out on what's new Wednesday. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. for another round of kind of design on the fly. Just a little bit of everything. We're going to have some fun tomorrow morning. So come hang out with us. I will see you guys then, 11 a.m. Eastern time. In the meantime, have a wonderful rest of the day. I'll see you guys soon. Bye, guys.